This is the city of Congard. That's Congard. This is where Word Thief takes place, a YA fantasy series where someone is stealing words and making them vanish from existence. Imagine waking up one day and you go to make yourself a cup of coffee, but the coffee beans are missing. So you yell out, "Hey, does anyone know what happened to the blank?" The word's missing. What's that? You can't seem to say the word coffee, no matter how hard you try. That's the concept behind Word Thief. Before this video continues, let me know what your favorite fantasy city is in the comments below. I really like Rivendell from Lord of the Rings, so let me know yours. The city of Congard, like any good fantasy city, needs complexity, charm, a little bit of personality, and well, to be honest, it needs to be its own character. So let's try and break things down and really establish what this dying utopia is all about. And yes, that's what it is, it's dying. Under the current king's rule, the city is in a lot, and I mean a lot, of debt. This means that everything is on the rise. The housing market, interest rates, food prices, mental health as a result of this. It's sort of like the modern world right now, but even worse somehow. As a result, the people are not happy. Actually, they're pretty pissed off. And then you throw some missing words into the mix, and well, you get the picture. Welcome back to Write With Me, a series where we, the people of the internet, create brand new stories together. If you have any ideas for the following story, let me know in the comments below. If you don't, that's okay. My hand is still broken, so this video is going to be very fun to edit. Without further ado, let's get into it. Congard is ruled by the Applegates. They're the royals. We've got Lord Applegate IV, he's the current king, and he's actually the one that believes the city is dying, hence the whole thumbnail for this video. He's got a wife named Ivana, and together they did the silly little naked dance and produced 3 little royals. We have Vex, the eldest, and he's also heir to be the next king. Wyn, their only daughter and the middle child, she has a passion for Zeo. And finally Yarn, their baby boy, he's only 5. The family reside in the region known as the Royal Pentagon. Oh, how fancy. Care for a cup of tea? The Royal Pentagon historically is where the founders of Congard built their keep, which is called the Black Citadel. It's so moody. Way back in the day, pentagons and that shape were thought to be the best form of protection when building ward-off architecture such as forts, keeps, and dungeons. Though this idea has now been disproven, the Applegates still live within the first ever walls built in Congard. This region is represented by an apple. Each of the city's regions have a fruit/vegetable that represents them, specifically in terms of politics and law. He's right, she's left, and I'm a cucumber, I guess. Hold on. There are a few more things you need to know. Like, why build walls in the first place? See, Congard is the capital of the southern continent of this world. This continent is named Englos. There are also other nations in the west, north, and east. And in between everything, there's ocean and islands, sort of like Earth. The northern continent is the most ancient and is the second largest. This is called Itvan. The east, which is known as Berku, is the most dissimilar to all the other nations and continents. They're sort of like South Asia in comparison to something like Europe, which would be Itvan. Finally, in the west, there is a very big chunk of land that after many wars is now reformed. This is known as Neo-Yedlum. Each of the 4 have been at each other's throats and have faced various wars with one another. But they've also worked side by side to then fight one another again. So there's constant conflict between the 4 different parties. For decades, Yedlum, which is what Neo-Yedlum used to be, was at war with Englos. This led to the annihilation of one of Congard's major districts, Moriarty. Nowadays, Moriarty is known as the Moriarty Ruins, as the people of Congard never truly recovered after the war. When pondering about the Moriarty Ruins, think of any post-apocalyptic landscape where nature has retaken the land. Vines on buildings, grass spread across rooftops, shattered windows, so on and so forth. Like Chernobyl, but far less toxic. This region, before the war, was represented by the grape. Early on in the story, 2 word thieves, Echo, our hero, and Fern, the novice, are investigating a vanishing word, wrong. Echo, who is an orphan with a mysterious past, comes from the beautiful, muddy slums that are known as Smuhaven. If you need a hit of ED, maybe you're in the market for some mercenaries, or hey, you just want a good time, Smuhaven is the place for you. But you'll probably lose everything in the process, unfortunately. Most of the buildings in this district don't even have ceilings. It's a bit of a shithole. There are 3 types of citizens in Congard, other than your rich, middle class, and poor. There are humans, of course, tamed animals, like Temin the rat and Plum the red panda. These animals all walk on hind legs, wear clothes, work, and pay taxes. Finally, we have in-betweens, which, yeah, you guessed it. They're a mix of humans and animals spliced together. Half this, half that, such as Lady Amelia Velvet, who is half human, half swan, though she does kind of look like an angel. Once the city's keep was established, the villagers spread and built more homes, as most villages do, specifically along the shore, establishing dhow docks, and around a river known as the Antelope Canal, creating Congard's first ever district, Massville, which in contemporary times is where most of the rich live. This is where Fern lives with her family. Massville is home to one of the oldest structures in Congard, the Cherry Inn. And yes, this district is represented by a cherry. As the city got older, it spread more and more. Rowlington was soon established, a middle state between the crime of Smuhaven and the luxuries of Massville. The Applegates also had walls and gateways built throughout the city, especially as reports were coming in about how dangerous Smuhaven was becoming. The only unwalled areas of Congard are, of course, Dhow Docks and Hemmingwood, which is a forest region in the east of the city. Hemmingwood is home to bush, trees, pathways, and more, and before its founding it was an uncharted forest which the people of Congard would use to hunt animals. The buildings in Hemmingwood are predominantly sparse, and most of those people who live there are farmers who create produce which they then export through the docks. The docks were once small, comprised of 2 timber jetties, one for the people, the second for the royal family. Now, however, there are hundreds and hundreds of wharfs, each taking in hundreds and hundreds of boats every single day from all over the world. The Dhow Docks actually travels across most of the northern section of the city, coming to a stop at the base of Rutger Hill. This hill, when you reach its peak, is the highest point of Congard, and is actually where they bury their dead. For example, Queen Ivana is buried at the top of Rutger Hill. Each of the districts within Congard have a distinct history. They also have different types of government policies and politicians who represent them. Even Smuhaven, who, that place is a bit of a dump. I think for now that's enough for today. We've gone over the basics of the city of Congard. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'd love to hear about them. If you'd like to learn more about the royal family, or Fern and Echo's investigation in the Moriarty ruins about the missing word wrong, I have other videos which will be in the outro section after this. I think I'm eventually going to have to make a map or something like that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go now. Bye.